Hey, welcome back to another episode of Two Bears One Movie. Ghostbusters Afterlife, 3 decades in the making. That's if you don't count the 2016 reboot. I don't think I count it in this universe, but I don't think it was as bad as many people made out. Not in the slightest. There's some funny bits in it. This is directed by Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman. I'm sure you've all heard about this already. Jason Reitman was in Ghostbusters too. It's starring Carrie Coon as Callie, Paul Rudd as Mr. Gruberson, Finn Wolfhard as Trevor, Mckenna Grace as Phoebe. It's got Logan Kim as Podcast and Celeste O'Connor as Lucky. So basically, this has got really a whole lot of mixed reviews. The audience on one side love it, the critics hate it. I'm definitely in the middle. I can see both sides. I was a huge Ghostbusters fan growing up. I loved both movies, I still do, even though some may think some parts haven't aged well. That's totally fine and they're probably right, but obviously it's a lot of nostalgia I'm filled with. I love the cartoon as well, and like Finn in Stranger Things, I also dressed up as the Ghostbusters, and you either wanted to be Peter or Ray. So basically it's about Carrie and her 2 kids, Trevor and Phoebe. They're broke, they lose their home. Carrie, her name's Callie in this, sorry, you can get how close they are. Callie's estranged father is Egon, and she lives in this old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. Her and her family trek all the way out there. They know that they're broke, there's nothing really there for them, so they end up staying there for the whole summer. Mckenna Grace, who's probably the star of the whole film, she's basically a miniature Egon. She's a miniature Egon. She's really intelligent. She's really witty. She's quick-minded. Some of her jokes are actually quite funny, even though she plays them really deadpan, dead and real straight. Then you have the brother Finn, who's a bit of maybe sort of a Venkman character. I feel that they made the 4 kids sort of like replicas of the Ghostbusters. So Finn would be Venkman, Phoebe would be obviously Egon, Podcast will be Ray, and Celeste will be Winston. The chemistry between Mckenna Grace and Paul Rudd and Podcast is really, really good. And Podcast, played by Logan Kim, is really good too. I also think Carrie Coon is absolutely fantastic, along with Paul Rudd. Their chemistry is really good, and you kind of wish you got a bit more of them, because they are really likeable characters and they play it really straight and really good. I can understand why a lot of people critics, sorry, should I say, that had a really bad taste about this. There is a lot of nostalgia, especially in the final act. It's just nostalgia just thrown in your face, and I can understand why some people wouldn't take that really well. I'll get to why I liked it now in a moment. What I wouldn't say I didn't like about it, but it's not very original. Now, in saying that, I know people are going to say, well, it's kids and I know the new Ghostbusters, but it's a rehash or reboot of Ghostbusters, the original from 1984. You have Gozer. It's just basically nearly the same plot from the first film, just replaced with kids. It's rehashed. As I said, the 4 kids are replicating the 4 personalities, so to speak. And maybe Paul Rudd is a bit like Lewis, and Carrie maybe a bit the Sigourney Weaver. Not fully, but you can get who they're kind of being there to replace almost. But in saying that, it does have good qualities. It is trying to set up something new, that the kids can be the Ghostbusters, and it's about family. And and I can understand why people didn't like it, but I did. I didn't think it was as good as some of the fans said. I've seen fans go raving about it. I think it's good. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as some of them think, and I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as the critics say either. It's just not very original. It's just a reboot, a rehash. I do think, for me personally, the callbacks are absolutely fantastic. I think that's what won me over, other than McKenna Grace's performance. I think that's what won me over. It was just the pure nostalgia. I thought the way the Ghostbusters do appear in the film, they didn't take up the whole screen. It was only enough of them. I do think it's past their time for like another film just filled with the Ghostbusters. They're too old now. Maybe if they'd done a sequel, they'd be kind of like a mentor role, maybe a little bit more in it there, but I thought this was just right. I know some people don't like spoiler before I get into this, don't like the way they brought Egon back into it. I thought it was classily done. I thought it was just on point. It wasn't forced. You could see they were going that way anyway. It was really going down the way of bringing him back as a ghost. And that's why it's basically called Afterlife. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Nostalgia really won me over. Has that clouded my judgment? Possibly so. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I can understand why some didn't like it as well. But I think it's nowhere near as bad as the critics made, and nowhere near as good as some of the fans made out. So for me, I think I'll give this a 3-star out of 5, 3 bears out of 5, yeah, because I quite enjoyed it. So please like, share, tell everyone, and I will catch you at the next episode. Cheers.